everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news as Manchester United's attention turned to basically everybody. Anybody. They're talking to everybody. GAKPO, MILINKOVIC-SAVIC, Morata. I'll tell you what, they're probably trying to get Peter Crouch out of retirement at the moment. But look, we've got loads to get into tonight, and we'll just get through it. We've got to get through it, haven't we? As Man United fans, you just got to try and get through it. That's what every day is about at the moment. But we'll go through all the news. We'll give it our opinion. That's what we do. And yeah, lots to get involved to. Thank you everyone in the chat who's saying 500,000 on Twitter. I've hit 500,000 on Twitter today, which I suppose is pretty good. But welcome to the Members Club as well. Big shout out to Luke, Rodrigo, Trevor and Folky as well. If you are a member, make sure you check out the new video that's gone up for the members, which is comparing Rabiot to McTominay to Milinkovic-SAVIC and Fred. Quick video, exclusively for the members. Check it out, deep dive stats video. Anyway, let's get into this show. But before we do that, we're sponsored by Boohoo Man. You know what that means. You're going to get a bit of trivia. Now, you should get this on the first guess. But before I say that, let me just say that the show is sponsored by Boohoo Man Active. Boohoo Man Active is all about looking good and feeling great as the weather gets nicer. And there's no better time to get yourself some brand new active wear. I'm wearing some of mine at the moment. It's hot. It's hot everywhere. I don't know whether I look hot, but I'm wearing some Boohoo Man active wear. Boohoo Man are, as always, Boohoo Man are sponsoring the show, so that means it's time for some Manchester United trivia. And again this week, we're seeing if you guys can guess which United player Boohoo Man are actively talking about from the below clues. This one is a bit of a challenge, and before we start, it's definitely not Nani. So here we go. I was born in Kobe, Japan on the 17th of March 1989. I've got it. You should get this. I joined United on the 5th of June 2012 under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. I played 38 times for the club. For Manchester United, I was part of the team that won the Premier League and also the Community Shield. After I left United, I went back to the same club that United bought me from. Who am I? It's very easy. If you don't know it, you'll never get it. And if you did get it, like most of the chat did, it's Shinji Kagawa. And I've got to say, I was really excited when we got Kagawa. I was really excited about Kagawa when we got him, to be fair. But it just didn't work out, did it? So it's Shinji Kagawa. Well done if you got that. Is he still playing? Is he retired? You don't really hear about him. I mean, he's probably retired. As always, Boohoo Man have given United Stand a discount for this video by scanning the QR code next to me or by clicking the link in the description and using the code GOLDBRIDGE. You get up to 40% off at Boohoo Man, excluding certain sale items. Thanks as ever to Boohoo Man. You know, we love, don't we? We love it in the chat how they interact with us and give us a bit of trivia as well. So big shout out to Boohoo Man. Scan the QR code, link in the description, Goldbridge, 40% off. Thanks everyone for that. Big shout out to Boohoo Man. Let's get into the show. Thoughts on Michael Knighton's hostile takeover, buying out the Glazers shares with the help of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. We need owners and need this to happen, says Bryce Jones. Mate, I want the Glazers out. I'm not old enough to remember what Michael Knighton did in the late 80s. You'd have to speak to Ricky or an older fan. But a lot of people ridiculed him. He was a bit of a joke. He went on the pitch on the opening day of the season and we beat Arsenal 4-1. I think it was like 1989 or maybe it was 88. I was very young then, but he tried to buy the club and he was doing kick-ups on the ground on the pitch that he'd bought the club, and he's always been seen as a joke. So I don't know enough about this guy. I don't know. I'd have to do some research, but you know what I've always said is it'd be great to get rid of the Glazers, but you know I really want $1 billion. I want owners that are going to let this club compete with Man City and Newcastle with our revenue. I don't want somebody just to get hold of it and treat it like a, you know, look at me sort of thing. It's got to be run properly. Mortis, welcome to the Members Club. Giovanni Lo Celso is way better than Rabiot and similar age price as Alvaro. David Sherwin, welcome to the Members Club. Dan M, welcome to the Members Club. Do you know anything about Michael Knighton? I've done that one, Rory. And hey Mark, hope you're well. Just heard your name on Phil's video he's doing. Man, he's really making a stand. Thanks for pushing through in these tough times. It's Daniel Luciano. Thank you very much, Daniel. And big up to Phil at Malakins on Twitter. Yeah, I'm messaging him a bit last night, and he said he was really, really fed up and was, you know, never felt so disillusioned about United. And I said, you got to keep at it, mate, because you're a voice that people listen to, and you know, he always tries to be positive, Phil. So when he's not positive, it really resonates. So yeah, big up to him. Anyway, let's get on with the show. The latest news to bring you, and I'm sure you've all seen it. First thing I'm going to say about all this news, by the way, I'm going to be, you know, you can't talk about walking out of Old Trafford, getting a new owner, and then be getting excited about GAKPO and MILINKOVIC-SAVIC. You're a complete hypocrite. Like, You're either unhappy with the club, the way the club's being run, or you're happy with what business we're doing. We were promised Anthony and De Jong, and so was Ten Hag, and now it's Gakpo and Milinkovic-Savic. I'm sorry, I'll report it, I'll talk about it, but it's complete and utter spin. It's complete and utter diversion, and people are getting excited about it. They're tweeting out walk out of Old Trafford against Liverpool, and then they're doing stat analysis on Gakpo, and I'm like, what are you at then? What are you at? Like, this transfer window is a shambles. If we wanted Gakpo, Milinkovic-Savic and Rabiot, we could have got them all in May. We're now trying to get them in the middle of August, right, late in the transfer window, because we've fucked up, basically. So call it what it is. If we get these players, they'll get backed. It's not the players' fault. But let's not pretend it's not what it is. It's absolute 100% not first choice signings, and it's absolute desperation. And I have seen a few journalists today saying that United have quite liked Rabiot for weeks. They've been monitoring Milinkovic-Savic all summer. Bollocks, you have not. You haven't. There's really good journalists who get good information from Man United. They've not spoken about Milinkovic-Savic. They've not spoken about Rabiot. And they've not spoken about Gakpo until Mullock in the Mirror did a couple of weeks ago. So you're talking out your arse if Man United are trying to tell these journalists that they've been tracking these players all summer. Bollocks. You are talking out of your arse, and you know you are, because any player United genuinely are in for, everybody knows straight away. So don't pretend that you've kept 4 or 5 targets quiet. And I know we have been linked to Milinkovic-Savic, but it's always been Italian reports, which is bollocks. So we might well be in for him now, but it's a panic. Logan, welcome to the Members Club. Can we please remember Dividends is a hell of a player, says Daniel. When they're going to make the debut. Wendell, welcome to Members Club. Kieran, welcome to Members Club as well. So look, let's start going through some of the news, because as you can see at the bottom, this is from Alex Crook from Talk Sports. He says PSV's Cody Gakpo is viewed as a cheaper alternative to Anthony, in which said deal isn't moving forward at any real pace. So there you go, Anthony not moving forward at any pace. Now, I have a bit of a theory. Neil says, I think Ten Hag's thinking, once I'm done with McFred, I've got a De Jong, Rabiot, because I'm my own boss, I can, Milinkovic-Savic. That doesn't make any sense, Neil. I hope it did to someone else. Gakpo's better deal than Anthony, in my opinion. He's also young and promising, but half the price. Milinkovic-Savic is not good enough, however. Need De Jong. Glazer's still out, says Noah. I don't think Gakpo's better than Anthony. I'll talk about him in a minute. Why the club haven't gone for Lema is beyond me. Yeah, he would cost 10 or 15 million more than Rabiot, but his wages would be much lower, and he's far better, says Bradley. And they've given Ten Hag no support. In fact, they want him to do their job for them. It's disgusting, says A. Gill. Well, look, we'll carry on with Gakpo, but can I just come back to something that I think Charlie might have spoken about this afternoon, and I'm glad for somebody reminding me about that. Samuel Lucas, this lunchtime, wrote an article, and right at the start of the article, he said that Ralf Rangnick, in his final week at Manchester United, recommended that United sign Vardiel and Lema from Leipzig. Did we sign Lema and Vardiel from Leipzig? No. I don't know what went wrong, but Manchester United basically kicked Rangnick out the club and said, we're not doing anything that he said. Let's blame it all on him. And what did Rangnick do wrong? The players played shit for him. Well, hello, they did it for Ten Hag at the weekend. So I think we can ignore Rangnick's ability as a coach, because we've already seen Ten Hag can't get these players to play well. It's not easy to do. And he's had a whole pre-season. Rangnick didn't. So let's ignore Rangnick wasn't a very good coach, because Ten Hag's had a pre-season and we still played shit. Let's look at Rangnick's real specialism, which is rebuilding clubs and recruiting. He recommended Lemar and Vardiel. We've never been anywhere near them. Why have we not been anywhere near 2 players that a manager that was looking at that team for 4 months said they'd be good for you? Stubborn. They didn't want to take any of his advice, because arrogance runs right the way through that football club. And if we'd bought Lemar or we'd bought Vardiel, it would have got out there that these were recommendations from Rangnick. And if they'd done well, it would have overshadowed Murta, Arnold, and maybe a little bit Ten Hag. So basically, we've got egos at United who want to ignore what Rangnick said when he left. I mean, he didn't have to say it. He recommended them, and United decided to ignore it, because ego over football club, brand over football club. We can't get Lemar or Vardiel, because if we get them, people will know that they were Rangnick's recommendations, and we'll never get the credit. What a stupid way to run a football club. That is why we've not gone in for Lamer, because everybody knows that it would have been recommended by Ranić, and they're so egotistical at that football club, they want it to all be about them. Which is why we keep failing, because you're not very good at your job. Simple as that. These players supposedly coming in, it's to soften the blow of no Frankie, and Ronnie going, new owners needed, we won't go anywhere with these prats, says Louis. Look, absolutely, 100%. Minnie Bridge says, hi Mark, love the show. I said in May that this new United was a smoke screen, says Minnie. Absolutely, 100%. I'll keep repeating this every day you want me to repeat it. If United want to get rid of these owners, every United fan needs to put aside this nonsense about who's a real fan. I keep hearing about these protests and stuff, and every headline is real fans. What are you talking about, real fans? Is there some sort of, do you get a passport or something? What are you talking about, real fans? Who's deciding who a real fan is? What a childish, stupid dictatorship way to run something. Real fans? What does that even mean? Manchester United fans is what you should be uniting, all of them. Every single one of them. Because if you want to get rid of the Glazers, you're going to get far more success if everybody's together. Why do people have to discriminate? I've got no issue with any United fan. None. Absolutely none. Never have had. Don't care whether you're from Manchester. Don't care whether you're from Northern Ireland. Don't care whether you're from North Korea. You're probably going to have a problem to supporters over there, but it doesn't matter to me. You're a United fan. I'm fed up of these divisions in the fan base, and you're a real fan and you're not a real fan. Oh, we don't like United stand because they're too negative. Oh, are we? Oh, that's really interesting, isn't it? The United stand's really negative. Oh, yeah. Everything we've said is so negative and inaccurate, isn't it? And yet here we are, sat where exactly many of us predicted we would be back at Christmas. But we're negative. Maybe we saw it coming. You know, I love Ronaldo, but I want him to leave, says Sarvish. Bit of a weird thing to be talking about. Natalie, welcome to Members Club. And looking at Chelsea's takeover, if United went for sale, there would be a ton of interest, says Joshua. Oh, there would be, yeah. Who do you think we should sign as a holding midfielder if we can't get De Jong, says Stephen. And Rabiot is a French Dele Alli, says the Connor. Yeah, just on a takeover as well, because I want to talk about transfers. I think that's what everyone wants to talk about. But just on a takeover, why are we doing it with one person? Why has it got to be Sir Jim Ratcliffe? Why has it got to be Michael Knighton? Are we not making a mistake here? Why are we not just trying, do we not want a situation with Chelsea that Chelsea had, where they had, they actually shortlisted their owners from about 20 down to 5 and then picked the best one? Why are we going after one particular person? It seems to me like, anybody get the Glazers out. Like, we want a proper sale of this football club. Where, that's what we want. We want to wrestle this football club back and be in a situation that Chelsea were in. Now, I know that was very unique because a lot of it was government-led, but there's so many people that would buy this club. Why are we limiting ourselves to one? Well, we need the Glazers to sell. That's what we need to do. The best way is to not think about who's going to buy it, is to get the Glazers out. And the best way to do that is to unite the fan base and make it very difficult for the Glazers to make any money. And then they will sell. And when they sell, that is when you hope that they're going to sell it to people that we want. And we've got to have a say in that. But it's a long road and you need everybody on board. What is wrong about getting Gakpo and Milinkovic-Savic, says Ishmael? Somebody explain it to him. We don't have a left-footed winger, that's a joke. Apart from Ahmad, and who is not ready, no one else. United should have done Anthony before Martinez, says Yadrif. And hi Mark, are we going to get Rabiot and Savic or one of them? Well, if you stop asking me questions, I might actually be able to move the show on. Knighton says a hostile offer from a consortium is underway. No, you don't rate him. It's time to go in on these processes, fulfil your destiny, Mark, says Ian. Mate, I don't know anything. I don't know. I'm not having this. These people just start putting words in your mouth. I don't know anything about Michael Knighton. I was too young. I know some older fans thought he was a bit of a joke because he tried to buy us before and he embarrassed himself. I don't know anything about him. I don't dislike him or like him. I don't know. I've got no idea, to be honest with you. So yeah, but it all just seems a bit disjointed to me. And I just want a United fan base. I've never really understood why people decide who's a real fan and who's not a fan, and why it's so aggressive and divisive. I've just never understood it. It's just a real strange aggression and division in our fan base, and it's like, it's just, I don't get it. Like, surely all we all really want is to go and watch a match in our own way and enjoy Manchester United being successful. I don't care about who's a better fan. I don't care about who's been to more games. I don't care about you know, what bus you go on or anything like that, or whether you watch it at home. All I want to see is Manchester United being successful and every Manchester United fan enjoying it. Mark, I meant Ronaldo to leave and De Jong to not join because this would frustrate fans and help fans unite against Glazers. I don't think it would, Sarvish, but I know what you mean. Welcome to Members Club CF. Right, let's talk about some transfers because I think we're going a little bit around in houses here and we can come back to a lot of this later in the show. So the next one I want to talk about is Cody Gakpo is valued at around 35 million by PSV, with sources saying they'd be unlikely to accept anything less. That's from Rob Dawson. And then we've got quite a few updates from Bert Telegraph tonight, who says Gakpo is now looking like a viable signing for Manchester United. So lots of updates on Cody Gakpo, PSV, 6'2", winger, 23, only just 23. Lots of people really like Gakpo. Lots of people have liked him for a long time. It's not just because we've been linked to him. Lots of people have been talking about him for a long time. Some of you have been talking about him for a long time. What are my thoughts on Gakpo? Well, there's a big game going on tonight, actually. Monaco versus PSV. I don't know what the score is at the moment. I'm sure someone in the chat will let us know. But with regards to this, PSV are playing Monaco. It's the second leg of a Champions League qualifier. It was 1-1. If Monaco win, Rabiot will go to Monaco. That's the story. If PSV win, then Gakpo will be harder to get hold of. So basically, if PSV win, we probably won't get back Gakpo and we get Rabiot. If Monaco win, we probably get Gakpo and we won't get Rabiot. So I think PSV are winning at the moment. And I want Monaco to win because I would rather get back Gakpo over Rabiot. But to be honest with you, I'd rather get neither. I want Anthony. I've always wanted Anthony, and so has Ten Hag. And this is something that really has to run through this show tonight because we've got lots of players to talk about. MILINKOVIC-SAVIC, Morata and a few others. And, God, my phone just keeps going off. Why can't people just shut up? Oh, God. Shit. Anyway, so the most important thing to run through is that none of these players are plan A or B. They're all plan C and D now. And you can get excited if you want. I'm not going to get excited about plan C and D. It makes me very angry. If we get Gakpo or Rabiot, they'll be given the support that United fans give every player. That's everyone knows that. We will support them. But what really, really annoys me, and we mustn't lose sight of this, whether it's part of the Glazers out theme or Murta out or Arnold out or whatever, is that another Manchester United manager has been delivered players that were not first choice. Anthony was first choice. Darwin Núñez was first choice. Timber was first choice. De Jong was first choice. And at the moment, we've got none of those and we might not get any of them. So yeah, Gakpo, Rabiot, MILINKOVIC-SAVIC, Morata, whoever else they're throwing their name at the moment, they are not first choice signings. And don't forget that, because they can pretend, oh, look at what we've done, look at what we've done. Basically what you've done is you've spent 90% of this transfer window chasing Frenkie de Jong, and then in the last 10% of the window, you've shit yourselves and you're running around trying to get anything you can desperately. That's not how you run a Manchester United football club. That's not how you run any football club. That's not how you rebuild a football club. And that's certainly not how you treat a new manager on the start of a rebuild. It's shambolic. That's what it is. Mark, the Glazers style, takeover style, is not allowed anymore in the Premier League. No, we know that. And welcome to Members Club, Blazing Ace. And of course, we might go in for Gakpo. We think we can get him on the cheap. Says it all with the Rabiot deal. Absolute joke, says Steve Locke. CF Origins, thank you very much for becoming a member. So what are my thoughts about Gakpo? So as I said, he's just turned 23, he's 6'2". He's an exciting player. Look, he's Eredivisie again. You know what? I think I was listening to Samuel Luckhurst today, and he's always said this. Look, I'm not picking on him. He's not the only one. I think Mark Ogden said it. Miguel Delaney said it. There's a couple of others have said it. They're already starting. Look, if they don't rate Ten Hag, and I don't think they do deep down. I don't think they do. They wanted Poch, and some of them have been honest enough to say that. But the Eredivisie thing is starting to wind people up. Why does every player have to have a touch point with Eredivisie and Ten Hag? And I think I've explained that before, why I think it is. Because basically all the scouting reports that Ten Hag was given, he didn't like. So he's had to go for players that he knows in Summer 1 because he can't send scouts out. You can't send your scouts out in May. No one's playing football anymore. So it's all right saying, oh, it's another Eredivisie player, but he can't scout anyone because they're not playing football. The scout reports he got from United were shite. So of course he's going to go for players that he knows. And I don't like it much either, but it is logical. So Gakpo, this is what I think about Gakpo. Anthony is the player that he wants because he's left-footed and he can play off the wing, off the right wing. We haven't got anyone to play there. If you buy Gakpo, basically his best position is Rashford's. And Rashford can't play off the right and doesn't want to. So if you buy Gakpo, really, he becomes a backup to Rashford, or he benches Rashford. Now, because he's 6'2", I don't think he can play. I don't think he can play on the right wing. By the way, he can play there, but I don't think it's where he does the most damage. He's better off the left, but he might be able to play through the middle. He might be a player that you could adapt into a centre forward because of his height and his physique and his strength. I think he could play up front. So, look, he is an exciting player. And if we'd been after him from the middle of May, I'd be quite excited about it. The fact that we're going for him as an alternative to Anthony isn't necessarily a bad thing. But he's not really an alternative to Anthony because Anthony would have played off the right wing and Gakpo can't do that. It's better than Sarr. Somebody this afternoon said we were in for Ismail Sarr of Watford and I was like, oh my God, ta-da, it's Sarr. So... yeah, look, I don't mind Gakpo. I think he is a talented, excited player, but it's sort of, it's Sancho on the right wing or nothing. That's the problem. And Sancho's not necessarily a player that stays fit all the season. So, what I will say is I like Gakpo. I can't pretend that, oh God, it's a stupid signing or anything like that. I do like him, but... Anthony was the player that we needed, and Anthony's a very different profile. Anthony plays off the right, Gakpo doesn't play off the right. So you're buying a left. Everybody wants to play off the left. I think even Sancho wants to play off the left. So, yeah. But you're definitely better off with Gakpo than a lot of others. So let's see what happens with that. But we're definitely interested. I've never been worried for United more than this season, says SK. Mark, wasn't Michael Knighton the guy with the talking Trans Am in the 80s? His blazing. He did something. He tried to buy us in the 80s, definitely. Ratcliffe's net worth is 12 billion, 4 times that of Bowley. Owns Sky Sports Cycling and partner with Mercedes. Solid credentials, in my opinion, says Bryce Jones. Yeah, and I think he is a United fan as well, and he was interested in Chelsea. So I think it's the sort of owner that you would like, but I would like to be in a position where we're not limited to just one person, because there might be somebody else out there. There might be an Elon Musk. There might be someone like that. You never know. But no, look, I think everybody gets excited about Sir Jim Ratcliffe because, yeah, he has links to being a Man United fan and he's very rich and he's got a lot of money. But, let's see. Mark, there was someone said on BBC Sport we are light years away from Man City and to get our club back. I remember when Gaddafi wanted to buy United and was told it would be like buying a heritage church, says Druv. Okay, interesting story. And the rebuild should be the owner and the board. As long as Glazers stay, our club got no hope, says Malik. You know what I don't like about the talk about the Glazers? We're a community here and we can all share our opinion. I had a lot of people today saying, can you share the picture of walkout Old Trafford? Can you get behind a movement to get rid of the Glazers? And I'm like, I've never wanted the Glazers. I never wanted the Glazers when they came. When we won the Champions League, I didn't want the Glazers. I've never wanted the Glazers. But I do echo what a lot of fans feel. This happens every summer when we don't get the signings we want. And then the transfer window closes and we get a couple of results and everyone's fine. Like, I'd rather this was happening in the middle of September, to be honest, because it just feels to me like the same old thing that happens every August when we don't get the signings that we want. And as I said, I don't go to games. I'm not going to tell people to walk out of Old Trafford or not turn up. They've spent sometimes thousands of pounds on season tickets. It's up to them what they do. And you can't just do a Twitter campaign with a picture saying walk out of Old Trafford. Some people will be travelling over from Ireland. Some people will be travelling over from Europe, up from London, and you want them to not go to the game. And how do they know not to go to the game or not? Because what if nobody does it? And what I mean by that is, if you're a London season ticket holder and it's like walk out of Old Trafford, and you don't go, and then you turn it on the telly and there's 70,000 there and only 5 haven't gone in, you feel like, I may as well have gone in. Or you do go up there and then everyone is walking out. You've travelled all... You know what I mean? You can't just go on Twitter and say, don't turn up for the game. It's got to be better than that. And as I keep saying, We need everybody. Everybody. A platform like this is brilliant for spreading news. Absolutely brilliant. You know, if somebody from somewhere organises it and says, look, everybody's on board, no one's gonna go to the game against Liverpool, then yeah, we'd be sat here going, don't go to the game against Liverpool, look, this is what's happening. But it's too fragmented at the moment. It's too much about this group, that group, this group. We're better than that group. We're real fans, you're not real fans. It needs, you know, build the foundations before you try and build the swimming pool. That's what I'm trying to say, and that's what a lot of people feel. Build the foundations. I remember when the Super League protests were going on, and I was involved in a lot of conversations with a lot of different groups, but even then there was still some people who weren't included. And it's like, get everybody involved, and then you're going to have a huge impact. Anyway, we're getting dragged into this. I want to talk about transfers as well. What's the difference between Tank and Ten Hag? De Jong? Okay, says Johnny. Okay. Jonathan David was apparently an alternative to Nunes back in Way. You'd think it'd be a priority up front. Too expensive, Andrew. Sancho played off the right a lot for Dortmund, as long as he has targets in the centre, not just Ronaldo stick on his own, says Clive. Hi, first time I write. I watched your show since 2019 after a major heart issue I had, and at hard times you were huge support. Keep spitting the harsh truth, says Matt Makeda. I hope you're doing well now as well, pal. I'm sure everyone in the chat would say that as well. So yeah, Gakpo's interesting, but plays off the left, so it'd be interesting how that develops. Now the next story is the one that I think is going to break the internet or break the chat. So this is coming in from the Telegraph that Manchester United have held preliminary talks with MILINKOVIC-SAVIC, although United have not yet decided whether to make a bid. I don't believe this. And look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't believe this. I don't believe it on many levels, and the reason I don't believe it is that if you watch the members video that I've done, where I compare Rabiot with McTominay and MILINKOVIC-SAVIC and Fred, one thing becomes very, very clear. MILINKOVIC-SAVIC is actually 28 this year as well, so I don't know why you'd be spending 60 million pounds on someone who's going to be 28 this year. It's a lot of money for someone who's never played in the Premier League before, who's spent all their career in Serie A, which is a lot slower than the Premier League. But people don't want to listen to that because it's just another 50-60 million pound player, MILINKOVIC-SAVIC. I liked MILINKOVIC-SAVIC back in 2017. I really liked him. I thought that was the time to buy him. I don't think buying him at 27.5, bringing him over from Serie A for 50-60 million is a good idea. I really don't. I really don't think it's a good idea. He spent all his career playing in Serie A. It's way slower than the Premier League. But if you look at the comparison between McTominay, MILINKOVIC-SAVIC, Rabiot and Fred, there's a really clear big difference. MILINKOVIC-SAVIC's best attributes are attacking. He can play as an 8. I don't think he's a 6. I know he did have a season for Lazio where he played quite deep, but MILINKOVIC-SAVIC has always been brilliant at playing, making goals and scoring goals for Lazio. That's what he's good at. So what confuses me is Rabiot doesn't like playing as a holding midfielder. MILINKOVIC-SAVIC, if you make him play as a holding midfielder, you lose a lot of what he's good at. So how would this work? How would this even work? If you buy MILINKOVIC-SAVIC and you get Rabiot, you can't play them as a 2 together. You're never going to get the defensive cover that you need. So you'd have to play a 6 with them that we don't have. So I don't understand why we'd go for Rabiot and MILINKOVIC-SAVIC when you'd be really cutting off MILINKOVIC-SAVIC's legs if you played him as a 6, because he's so good getting forward and scoring goals. Rabiot probably can play deeper, but it's not really what he wants to do. So I don't understand why you'd buy Rabiot and MILINKOVIC-SAVIC. Rabiot and De Jong is very different because De Jong wants to take the ball off the back four, so that would work. But Rabiot and MILINKOVIC-SAVIC to me is quite surprising. I'd bin the Rabiot deal and buy MILINKOVIC-SAVIC and hopefully still get De Jong, which I don't think is going to happen anymore, is it? Well, you're not going to get MILINKOVIC-SAVIC and De Jong. We're not going to spend 70 million on De Jong and 60 million on MILINKOVIC-SAVIC. So, look, as an observer of Italian football who's watched it for years and years and years, I like MILINKOVIC-SAVIC, but to me, I'd almost... You know what? If I bought MILINKOVIC-SAVIC and he came into the team now, I'd play him where McTominay plays, or I'd play him where Bruno plays. I wouldn't play him where Fred plays. I wouldn't play him as a 6. So we'd still have the problem of not solving the 6 problem, wouldn't we? Supporting Man United is, but in general, there is rumours about Milinkovic-Savic. I don't think United are in for him at all. I think it's just a convenient story for a player that doesn't really suit what we're on about. And I'd tell you what, I'd be very surprised if Ten Hag wanted Milinkovic-Savic. I know some people are saying that he does, but I'd be very surprised, really surprised. Supporting Man United is toxic. If your spouse treated you this badly, would we continue to stay in a relationship? Says Corey. We're always, but you can divorce your spouse. You can't divorce your football club. The only reason United went for Arnautovic is because Nicholas Bentner has retired, says Varun. Are defensive-minded midfielders in short supply? Why all the midfield targets either box-to-box or attack-minded, says Stephen Rossi. And sorry if it's irrelevant, but do you know anything about Michael Knighton and his possible bid for the club? He did an interview after the Brighton game, says Shahin. I don't know anything about Michael Knighton. All I was told about Michael Knighton many years ago was that he was a joke. That he tried to buy the club in the late 80s and made himself look a prat. I don't know why he's back. I don't know what he's doing, but I mean, if he's a joke, what are the Glazers, you know? Milinkovic-Savic is an absolute unit, but my lord, his valuation from Lazio is too high, says Alex. Would very much like him in the squad for the right price. I really can't think how we get into the top 4 this season. I don't think anyone is expecting that, Johnny from Donny. And Savic will not happen, and I think he'll fail in the Prem. He's also not a DM. It's desperation, but I'll take it at this point if it means no Scott, says Jared. Well, one thing that is very, very clear that we're trying to do, whether it's Rabiot, Milinkovic-Savic or another tall midfielder, we are targeting a tall midfielder because, as I keep saying, the reason McTominay plays is because he's tall. So we're obviously trying to buy a tall player that can play football. Isaac, welcome to the Members Club. And Martinez, CDM, buy another defender, more around, says Clive Roberts. It's only one game with Martinez, but I've got to say I nearly fell into the trap myself. I was like, you know, Martinez does look like a CDM, doesn't he? He's got the build of a CDM. He hasn't got the build of a centre-back, really. But I think Martinez and Varane is the way to go. But whether we'll see that, I don't know. We're not in for Milinkovic-Savic. It's just spin to cover over the De Jong disaster. Rabiot will be the only centre midfielder unless someone is offered very cheap, says Sean Turner. I don't think we're in for Milinkovic-Savic. I really don't. I've always said that, haven't I? And everybody knows I like Milinkovic-Savic. I mean, you can go back 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 years ago, whenever it was that we were in for him under Mourinho. I did loads of videos saying, let's get him. So I do like him, but I think that boat sailed a few years ago. The Telegraph go on to say that Man United's hopes of signing Frenkie de Jong have all but ended, as he indicates he does not want to join. I mean, I would not panic about that. I don't even get what this is all about. I had people messaging me saying, that's it, it's over. And I was like, why? And they were sending me screenshots of this. And I went, well, it might be over, but that's not the reason it's over. And they were like, what do you mean? I said, well, that's not the reason it's over. We knew that in May and June and July and last week. We know Frenkie de Jong doesn't want to come to Man United. There was a story in July that he hated Manchester. So that to me means nothing. That doesn't mean we're not getting him. We've been told this for months. I want the real reason we're not getting him. That's what if we don't get him, I want the real reason. That's not the real reason. That's not the real reason, because we've known that since May, and yet just live in reality with me for a minute, right? Man United have chased Frenkie de Jong all summer. They even avoided buying Anthony in June and let the price go up so they couldn't get him because they were working on Frenkie de Jong. They even let Martinez's price go up too high because they were working on Frenkie de Jong. Man United spent May, June trying not to buy anybody else apart from Frenkie de Jong. And all through that time, we got told he doesn't want to come to United. He wants to play Champions League football. And July. So we've always known this story that he doesn't want to come to Man United. What I want to know is, what's the real reason he doesn't come to Man United? Because it's not that. There's no way we sat there for 3 months being told he will not join your club and stayed in the race. Because if we did, my God, it's worse than I thought. There's a different story here. And I think the real story is this. Frenkie de Jong does not want to say he wants to leave Barcelona because if he does, he will not get the money he's owed. There is massive legal ramifications going on between his agent and Barcelona and Frenkie de Jong. And Barcelona are now talking about legal action. Frenkie de Jong's always wanted to stay at Barcelona, but Barcelona don't want to pay him the wages he's owed. So they've sold him. But he won't go until that's sorted. I think Frankie de Jong just keeps saying he doesn't want to join any other club because he's trying to get the money out of Barcelona or stay at Barcelona on the wages that he's on. I think privately there has been conversations between Frankie de Jong's agent, Manchester United and Ten Hag, and basically those conversations have been, as long as we get our money, we don't really want to leave, but if we get our money and we've got to leave, we'll come to Man United. And I think that's what's always been the story. But I think United have sat back and waited, and Chelsea have come in, and now he might go to Chelsea because Man United just sat and waited for too long. So, because the issue is Chelsea will pay him the money he's owed as well. So, I don't think it's over yet, but I don't think that's the reason. And look, I understand people who say the De Jong deal's dead. Maybe it is, but I don't believe that's the reason. Google says Knighton's worth is 5 to 7 million. Couldn't buy Phil Jones out of his contract. Never mind United, says Stephen Willocks. Maybe he's another Woodward. Woodward helped the Glazers buy Man United, so maybe he's a negotiator or something. Isaac, welcome to the Members Club. We are not I've done that one as well. In really done with this deal. If he doesn't want to come, leave him alone, says Elm. Stop saying players too expensive, letting Glazers off the hook. They're billionaires who can easily afford to finance, says DPL. Mate, I don't know what. Don't do that. Like, don't start attacking other United fans because you're angry. Like, when I say Milinkovic-SAVIC is too expensive at 60 million and De Jong at 70 million, I don't mean that we shouldn't sign them. I just mean that it's absolutely obvious that we're not going to spend £130 million on two midfielders. We're not. It's one or the other. That's what it is. We know that because we know our budget's shit because the Glazers are in charge. So I don't mean we shouldn't spend the money. What I'm saying is we won't spend the money because it's too expensive for the budget that we've got. A Forbes article said that De Jong is a free agent now, says Crash. I very much doubt that he is. Very much doubt that. This is a funny one as well. Intermediaries have encouraged Manchester United to consider a move for Alvaro Morata. United have considered him before but are unlikely to be interested. This goes back to what I said last night. United are basically throwing their hat against every player at the moment, and every agent is throwing our name in as well. This is what happens when you're in a panic. I feel sorry for us really, because if you're an agent in the last 3 weeks trying to get a move for your player, and you know that United are in a mess, you throw your name against Man United. And if you're Man United and you've messed up your summer, you throw your name against a load of players because you're desperate. So if you thought the last 3 months was chaotic, the next 3 weeks is going to be chaos times 10. Because we're going to get linked to every player that we're not in for, and we're going to get linked to loads of players that we are desperately trying to sign. It's just going to be chaos. And basically, you're going to get a scenario like Arnautovic. Oh, we'll give you 10 million for Arnautovic. No. Okay. We'll give you 15 million for Morata. No. Right. We'll give you 20 million for Sarr. No. We're just going to be going around now. It's going to get really, really stupid. What can we do? What can we do? It's too late, really, isn't it? We're not going to be able to rescue this transfer window, and therefore I don't think we'll be able to rescue this season yet. Man United are also going to turn their attention to moving on a number of players such as Eric Bailly, Phil Jones, Axel Tuanzebe and Brandon Williams. Oh, are they? Oh, are they? Can I? Oh, well done. Well done. Well done. 3 weeks to go, and you're now going to start trying to sell players. Well done. Why didn't you fucking do that back in May? Knobheads. We're gonna now turn our attention to selling some players. Whoop-de-doo. Absolutely unbelievable. I tell you what, I would have done this for free this summer. I would have worked as voluntary. I would have done that for free. I would have tried to sell you Eric Bailly and Phil Jones and Brandon Williams for free, and I would have started on June the 1st. And by June the 10th, I'd have a summary of who's interested. Like, why are we doing this so late in the transfer window? It defies logic. Why are we doing it so late in the transfer window? We're now going to turn our attention to selling some players. God. I'm convinced John Murtagh from 6 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, which is what apparently he's been working for the last 3 months. I'm convinced he's been playing Football Manager. But you know what he's done? Richard Arnold said to John Murtagh, right, this is a really good idea, John. Neither of us are very good at our job. Do a Football Manager career as Man United, play 3 or 4 seasons, and then run through the game and see how you go and what players are there and see what everyone else is buying and see how successful they are. Write them all down and then we'll start working on them, right? So 6 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, old Mert has been playing Football Manager, taking notes, right? And Arnold's getting a bit tetchy. He's like, bloody hell, we're getting to the end of July. What are you doing, John? You've given me no names. And he's like, yeah, I've not got the United job yet. What do you mean? Well, I started off as Notts County in the National League, and I'm still in the National League. I've not got promoted yet, so I don't know what's going on in the Premier League. You bloody idiot! You're meant to start off as Man United. Oh, I thought I had to start at the bottom and work my way up. No! Have you got any names? No, well, there's a good lad. There's a good striker who plays for Notts County who's 18. Well, that's no bloody good, is it? You're a bloody idiot, John. You're a bloody idiot. Never had the budget. We are ran by accountants. They are basing the budget based on no Champions League again this season. Typical accountants working on worst case scenarios, says Chris. Mark, am I missing something? Tillemans is cheap with 1 year left on his contract and an excellent player, says Ben Talks Football. You're missing the word Arsenal, mate. He doesn't want to come to United. He wants to go to Arsenal. What's happening with Tillemans is, and I was told this a long time ago, probably back in the middle of June, Tillemans will go to Arsenal. That's what I was told, and it will happen in August, because what's happening there is Leicester is out of contract in a year. Leicester want about 35 million. Arsenal want to pay about 25 million. So Tillemans wants to go to Arsenal. Arsenal are just waiting till the end of the window when Leicester are going to have to make a decision. They're either going to have to wait and lose him for nothing in a year's time, in which case Arsenal will fancy their chances then, or they're going to have to take what they can get at the end of August. So unless somebody else swoops in, like a bigger club than Arsenal, Barcelona or something. But yeah, Tillemans Arsenal for a cheap deal is apparently what's going to happen. So I mean, I don't know how United would change his mind, because I don't think he wants to come to United. I think he wants to go to Arsenal. Mark, if Chelsea buy Fofana and De Jong, it's over 300 million. Am I wrong in thinking that breaches financial fair play? Says Rob. Mate, if we had Newcastle's owners or we had Man City's owners and we spent 300 million and a Chelsea fan was going, do you think they're breaching financial fair play? What would you do? I'd go, ha 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 ha, swivel on that with your shit club. I ain't talking about financial fair play because Chelsea are buying players and being ambitious. At the end of the day, when has financial fair play ever fucking done anything for anybody? At the end of the day, it's just jealousy, isn't it? Let's be honest, we're just jealous. Like, our club is run shit, so we're trying to... It's like snitching, isn't it? It's like snitching on somebody. Like, we're absolutely shit, but someone's better than us, so let's try and snitch on them. Like, let Chelsea do what Chelsea do. At the end of the day, they're just trying to be ambitious and trying to win league titles. I would not be surprised if we signed De Jong on last transfer day, says Darren. 90% club. Don't want to ruin your day, Mark, but if we get Rabiot, he will play with McTominay as he's left-footed, says Dazzo. Look, it won't ruin. Look, let's just make this very, very clear. I've got absolutely no issue with Scott McTominay as a person, or Harry Maguire, or Bruno Fernandes, or Marcus Rashford, or any other player that I think was crap at the weekend. But I'll still sit here and, like, if McTominay, I think McTominay will get picked against Brentford. I think he'll play against Liverpool. I think he's going to keep getting picked forever and ever and ever. And I've sort of made peace with that, because I can't understand how he's played for us for the last 2 years. So the next 2 years really won't surprise me. But so no, look, if we buy Rabiot and he plays with McTominay, he plays with McTominay, doesn't he? I mean, I think McTominay's getting worse. That's a concern. I don't think he was ever this bad. I don't think he was particularly good, but I don't think he was ever this bad. I think he's progressively getting worse. I don't know what that's all about, but I mean, it won't make me angry if he gets picked on. I wasn't angry on Sunday. I wouldn't have picked him, but I wasn't angry. It is what it is. I can't do anything about it. Mark, you dismissed De Jong's stories early doors and predicted we would chase all summer and not get him, but I've never heard you mention it, says Reese. Well, things change, Reese, don't they? I mean, you change with the stories. I think, God, so much has gone on this summer, and I think we can all do this together. Let's go through memory lane. My initial feelings about De Jong that were back in May that it was a waste of time. I just couldn't see why he'd want to come to Man United. And if I'm honest, I would never have gone for De Jong. I wouldn't. I would have gone for Lema and Tillemans. I think for what... And I always said this at the start, so I'm not contradicting now. I always felt that this summer, and maybe it was because of what Ranić said, but I'd sort of settled in that this summer was going to be 5 or 6 players for about 30, 40 million. So you'd go for your Lamers, you'd go for your Tillemans. I never expected us to go for Neves because I thought they'd want about 50, 60 million. So that's what I thought the rebuild was going to be, a gradual build of, removing players and bringing players in and building for the future. Then we went for De Jong, and I was like, fucking hell, that's a huge part of the budget. It's a marquee signing, and it's one midfielder. And it was everything I didn't really think we should do. But then as it became more realistic that this wasn't just a load of bollocks, I was like, well, this is what Ten Hag wants. And I wanted Ten Hag, so I've got to back the manager. And there's no doubt that Frenkie de Jong is a world-class player as well. So, look, it wasn't what I wanted, but I wasn't dead against it. And also, over time, you talk to people, you read things, and it was very, very clear that Man United put all their eggs in one basket and thought this deal was going to happen. Mark, have you heard or read about Michael Knighton putting up a consortium to bid for Man United? Ashish, it's about all I fucking heard all night, to be honest. And to be honest with you, I mean, it's great if it's true, but I don't know enough about it, and I think I don't think that solves our problem right here, right now. I mean, what if it doesn't happen? What if we spend all our time talking about a potential takeover that doesn't happen, then the transfer window closes in 3 weeks and we've missed all the things that really matter, which is the here and now. Like a consortium that buy Man United, it could take a year, it could take 2. Like, there's things that are happening right here, right now, where people should not be left off the hook. Like this, I don't want the Glazers in charge, but I also don't want us to just jump on any old thing. And how credible is it? There's a lot of... It's great if it's true, if it's the right buyer and the Glazers are going to sell. It's absolutely fantastic. But let's not get overexcited yet. There's bigger issues to deal with, and that's, Brentford on Saturday, the transfer window over the next 3 weeks. Because I tell you what, if the Glazers are selling, we won't buy anyone between now and the end of August. They won't spend anything. So, Mark, I have read about it. I haven't read about it, but I've heard about it. I'm convinced McTominay has videos of Glazers... Mostly, I can't read that. McFredder's midfield, forget Europa, FA Cup, Carabao, 4th place is Desiree. Look, one thing's for sure, we won't be playing McFred for much longer. I don't know why he did it in the first place, but he's not going to pick McFred for much longer. No way. Absolutely no way. He's seen the light on that, Ten Hag. I mean, fucking hell, I don't know why he had to wait and lose a game of football, but he's definitely seen the light. Man United H. Hodge says, do you reckon if Rabiot is done by Brentford, we should start with Rabiot? He won't start against Brentford. Forget about it. He won't start. He won't even train with United before Friday. He won't start. I don't think he's even match fit, is he? So, absolutely no, not a chance at all. He won't play against Brentford, so don't get too excited about that. Telegraph again, Man United have agreed a deal with Juventus for Rabiot. Murta is now travelling to meet his mother to agree the personal terms. And another update on Gakpo from the Telegraph. Gakpo is understood to be interested in joining Erik ten Hag at Man United, although there are other Premier League clubs tracking him, says the Telegraph there. So actually, I just want to just very quickly check what the score is for PSV. They're losing to Monaco 2-1. That's a good score for us. That is a good score for us because I don't know how long's left. 68 minutes. So if Monaco win, they're in the Champions League, and apparently Rabiot will go there. If PSV win, then apparently Gakpo will stay at PSV. So at the moment, we've got the right result because Rabiot apparently will go to Monaco if Monaco win, and then PSV will probably sell Gakpo. So at the end of the day, let's do a poll. Who would you rather buy, Rabiot or Gakpo? Either or. Rabiot, Gakpo. There we go. We've been linked with Saar recently. I don't know the reliability. Jason, luckily enough, the Saar story is complete and utter bollocks. It wasn't from a very good source. So yeah, don't worry about it. But we will get loads of crap stories as well. We'll be linked to loads of people now. I mean, what we should do is like I did last night on the show. I said we'll be linked to MILINKOVIC-SAVIC soon, and it happened in 20 minutes. So we should all play guess the next transfer, guess the next transfer, guess the next transfer, guess the next transfer story. I'm going to try and think of somebody that we'll get linked to. There's some really obvious ones, I'm sure. Strikers. Well, Morata. I would have gone for Morata, actually. Does Mandzukic still play? There's one. We'll probably get linked to him. I think he's retired now, Mandzukic. Come on, there's got to be... I mean, Danny Ings. I wouldn't be surprised if we get linked to him. We have been linked to Jamie Vardy. Danny Ings, wouldn't be surprised about him. Ivan Toney we've been linked to already. Basically, any tall striker over 6 foot, basically. I love the shows. I've done that one. Don't forget about Arnold and Mertens jolly in Barcelona, says Graham Crooks. What did I say? If we don't get De Jong, that picture of Arnold and Mertens is basically the promotional poster for Dumb and Dumber 3. Eric Ten Hag needs an ally at the club with enough power to withstand this useless board from inevitability forcing him out if he ever speaks out against them, says Sean O'Rourke. I mean, look, let me paint you a picture, though. Let me paint you a picture. Man United with owners that you don't even think about. Owners that want you to be good on the football pitch. Imagine that heaven, that footballing heaven of having owners whose only focus is being successful on the pitch. The reality is that United were bought on debt. This would never be allowed to happen anymore. It can't happen. We've seen it with Chelsea. You can't buy a club on debt, and you can't even buy a club and take dividends out. I think the Chelsea can't take dividends out for 10 years or something like that. But no, we're the only club that really take dividends out anyway. So we have got the worst owners in the Premier League by a long way, and no other club will ever have ownership like ours because it's not allowed to happen. We've got £500 million of debt, which is pretty much the debt we had when they bought us. And over the last 17 years the Glazers have been here, that buyout from the Glazers in debt repayments and everything else has cost us somewhere between £1 and £2 billion. So we're £500 million in debt, and we've lost somewhere between £1 and £2 billion to the Glazers. Admittedly, we've lost £1 billion on transfers over the last 10 years, where fuck knows what we did with it. But forget that. That's just bad management. That's bad recruitment. That's not acceptable. People should have been sacked for that. But go back to what I said before. We've still got £500 million worth of debt, and the club has lost between £1 and £2 billion servicing that debt because of the Glazers. Now, imagine an owner that doesn't put us in debt. That's £500 million back. And those costs are ongoing as well. Servicing the debt costs us money every year. The Glazers don't pay out of their own pockets, by the way. They've never paid out their own pockets for anything to do with United. All they've done is taken money in. Because they bought us on debt, they never spent anything of their own money. But the dividends, that goes in their pocket. So all they've ever done off United is profit. It never should have been allowed to happen. I can't understand how it happened in the first place, but it never should have been allowed to happen, and it will never be allowed to happen again. But imagine this scenario. You have an owner who wants to be successful on the pitch. That's all they want. So we're not servicing debt anymore. So there's no £1-2 billion going out over 15, 16 years. This club is very wealthy. If it's allowed to run properly, this club is very wealthy. It's getting less wealthy because it's not successful. But Manchester United, as a business, is very wealthy. But the Glazers have made us very poor because we're in debt, and we're paying debt off, and we're paying dividends off. Imagine what Man United would be if we'd never had the Glazers and we'd just had owners. We'd have a state-of-the-art stadium. We'd have a squad awash with talent. Be a different world. Mark, I agree with you when you say that playing Garner would put a lot of pressure on the young lad, but given what we produced versus Brighton, we may as well. Well, Garner would be better than Fred or McTominay. I think we know that, Mojo. You spoke about RA yesterday, and his exact quote was this: was this summer the manager and director got everything they need. For future investments, we need more cash. Scary times. Can't imagine next summer, says Matty FC. Bloody hell. Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you on that one. St Maximin. He's another right footer who plays off the left. It'd be a lot more expensive than Gakpo as well. Please smash a like on the video, by the way. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Another cracking show tonight. I've really enjoyed it. It's flown by. Absolutely flown by, hasn't it? Unbelievable, Jeff. It has flown by. 82% of you would rather get Gakpo over Rabiot. So there we go. PSV are still losing 2-1. And it's a goal. I don't know who scored the goal. A goal. Ben Yedder. Does that make it 3-1 or 2-1? Now then, I don't know what that means. I don't know whether the I don't know whether it's still 2-1. I'm on a rubbish. Oh no, Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder made it 2-1, didn't he? Yeah. Sorry. Reports coming out. We're in for Bellingham, and United are putting a £1 release clause into his contract. I tell you what, FIFA career mode today, I'm still buzzing off that. I don't live in reality. I live outside of reality now in my FIFA career mode. It was great. It's still 2-1. Sorry, still 2-1. But yeah, if PSV lose, we'll probably get Gakpo. If Monaco win, Rabiot probably goes to Monaco. So that's probably not a bad idea, is it? But then again, maybe people want Rabiot. I mean, I don't know. I don't know at this stage. Can I just remind the members as well, we've got a new video for you. It went up about 4 hours ago. Brand new video for the members. Deep dive stats into comparable Rabiot with McTominay and Fred and Milinkovic-SAVIC. So you can see what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are, and how they compare. So if you are a member, check that out. If you want to be a member, click the join button and you get your badge next to your name and all the extra content as well as a thank you. Obviously, it doesn't impact anybody else. We're still doing loads and loads of our normal content. Thoughts on Michael Knighton's potential bid? I tell you what, Austin, if I had £1 for every time I would ask that, I'd have about £10. I don't really have any thought on it because I just think people are getting over emotional about something that probably won't happen for a long time. I'm more interested in what we're doing in the transfer window with 3 weeks to go, why we've spent 3 months chasing Frenkie de Jong, why we didn't get Anthony, and why another manager is not getting his first choice targets. Now, if we do get new owners, basically, I hope they buy us at Christmas because I actually don't want new owners at the moment because they're not going to be able to buy us in time to rescue this season. What I want is these owners to deliver this manager what they promised in the next 3 weeks. And that's what I'm focused on. I want these owners to go, but we're not getting a new owner tomorrow to buy the players that we need in the next 3 weeks. So let's focus on what's important, and that's the right here, right now. This manager needs to get the players he asked for. As for getting new owners, I hope it happens. I really do. But you know what I don't want? And I'll say it right here, in all honesty, what I don't want is a consortium that just about gets the money together to buy Man United. That would be the worst thing that can happen in the world. If we can just about claw enough money to get rid of the Glazers and then we've got no money left. Like, we really do need someone to buy the club who is wealthy. Because we're in such a fucking mess, we're going to need that wealth for the start. I don't think we'll need it in the long term because Man United makes a lot of money. But in the short term, we're in debt. We're in a fucking mess. We need a new stadium. We actually need owners that can come and pump some money into the club at the start. Because although United does make money, a lot of money needs to be spent to sort this out. And I'm not just talking about buying players. The infrastructure, you've got to sack a lot of people as well. Let's not forget if one of the first things needs to happen if the Glazers get kicked out is that you'd have to get rid of your director of football, your board, the whole fucking lot would need sacking. So, yeah, if we are going to get a new owner, I hope it is somebody who's got a few billion in their pocket because we can't just buy it with a consortium to get the Glazers out. Like, we need a proper... I mean, although you could do that and then put it up for sale and do a proper... I mean, look, what I'd like to do is the Glazers ring me up and say, you can have Man United. And then I'd go, great. And then I'd go, right, we're selling Man United to the best offer, like Chelsea did. That's what we need, but we will see. Oh, we've got a legend in the chat. Carmine's just gifted 10 United Stand memberships. If you've got one of those, you get to watch the new video. Lee, thank you. Welcome to Members Club. And also, in case if we miss out on De Jong, do you think United would still go for him in January or next season? Says Too Fast, Too Furious. Mate, I've always said on Frenkie de Jong, he won't be a Barcelona player in September. If we miss out on de Jong, you'll see him twice a season when we play Chelsea. I don't think he's staying at Barcelona. That's never been, I know he says he wants to, but the private story, I'm convinced from what I've heard, is very different. He knows he's leaving Barcelona, but he wants the money he's owed. Would you ever sat through an entire video doing deep dive stats on an Arnautovic? I'm glad I never had to, the genius knows. I'm really glad I never had to. Right, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. If you're a member or you want to become a member, click that join button and check out our latest video. We've got some good stuff coming up on the members stuff, actually. Mark, I'm going to start a GoFundMe page to purchase Manchester United. Says Victor, please be my director of football. I'm assuming we're linked to Yarmolenko as well. Don't be surprised, says Dougie. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea that we'll get linked to him. I'm gonna write a little list later of people. I'll put it up on Twitter. Big shout out to Boohoo Man. Make sure you scan the QR code or go through the link in the description. You can get 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Cracking stuff, active wear. If you're down the gym, if you're going for a run, if you're playing five-a-side, you can get yourself quite a few bits of nice looking stuff with 40% off. Or if you're going on your holidays or anything, check it out. 40% off with the code Goldbridge. Thanks to Boohoo Man. Thanks everyone. I'd love to say we might be back a little bit later live, but I don't feel like United are going to do. I don't think we're going to get. We've not done hardly any late night streams. I just don't think that vibe is going on this summer transfer window. But we'll be back in the morning at 10, and if anything happens, we will go live. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and don't forget to check out Boohoo Man. I'll speak to you